It's Friday! Blessings, greetings, and good afternoonings. We are back. Hello, Tony.
Hello, matey. It's wonderful to be back. I'm so excited.
It feels like forever, and as someone pointed out, it's probably because it is.
Yes, it has, yes, but life happens, and
It
sometimes
really
you can't
does.
help it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yes. But it is an absolute honor and a privilege to be back with you, my good friend, and
Wonderful.
everyone joining in online, coming along to see us, to say hello, and to talk spirit. It's because when you first came on, before you explained where you actually are, I thought, is he laying down on the floor or something? Because the angle's a bit off, but I'll let you explain to Mother Dearest what's going
Yeah,
on.
Mama Brown. We're at the caravan, and it's changeover day. So there's a rental caravan just here next door to us, and there's somebody moving in for the weekend, and the dogs are going ballistic. So I thought I'd get out of the way. And and got the lovely portrait of our Bedlingtons and our old Tia. This one, she was a
Oh,
gorgeous girl. But yeah, so I am on the bed. I'm not in bed.
and he is. I will just confirm he is sitting. It's just the angle of the camera, not Tony on his back, which I
No,
thought
no.
hilarious. Hello, Cherry Ann. Good to see you, sweetie.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Yes, it's because I've had to put the laptop on my knee, so it's a bit of a strange angle. I do
Absolutely.
apologise that you're looking at my nostril. Eh,
Wouldn't be the first time. Wouldn't be the first time. And of course, I've got to say, hello, Kaza. Yes, there is a very strange time delay. So I've extended the 30-second countdown. So whatever time you see it starting at, that's however long the delay is between us hitting go and it actually connecting with you. So yeah, thank you for the countdown. We'll do better next time, I promise. A bit out of practice.
yes, that's the thing. We've been slacking for a couple of weeks, haven't we?
We we have it. Well, I personally would say that we actually have been slacking in terms of doing the two revs, but I certainly know from yours
No,
and perspective, it's not been slacking reason.
no,
Um,
no. It's been like manically busy.
oh
But
yes,
yeah,
oh yes,
Kai, I will relax. Thank you very much. But
yes, absolutely.
not really, because we're still on here and we're still chatting.
We are still working, and I see. Someone has followed me over. Hello, Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. Good to see you. And Nicola Rayner there has joined us as well. Hello. We started the yellows early.
Yeah, we have, yes, we've slipped into saying hellos. So oh, I haven't got a mouse. I was just going to say, let's scroll my mouse, and I haven't got one. I'll have to use the touchpad. Oh dear. So yeah, of course we've got Kaza. We've said hello to Kaza and Mama Brown as well.
Yep.
Oh dear.
I've put one up on the screen for you to make it easier for you.
Oh yeah. Hello, Ashley. Wonderful to see you again.
Absolutely. Now, Nicola, I had on screen with me the other day at our Sunday service,
Yes.
which was very lovely. If anybody hasn't seen it, I have got to say that Bridie Hughes is a stunning medium. Her information was absolutely amazing. The detail and depth and the way it came through, you could actually see it. I've got to say, I've never seen Bridie work before, but I've got to say she was absolutely amazing. And Kaza's legs might have been dying that day, but she has promised me that she's getting her back next year. So
Well,
both Nick, the other Nick in Kaz's life, and myself, we both got a message from Bridie. Her mediumship is amazing,
brilliant.
and I love every minute of it. And I have got to mention it because obviously, there's been a big change in my life this week. The lovely Reverend Ashley Oliver is technically no longer a fellow co-host on SPTV because I have left SPTV.
Oh
Yes. I'm no longer going to be hosting on the Monday mornings, the Start Your Day show with the lovely Karen. But I will be keeping a hand in. The reason for leaving was very personal, had my own reasons. Um, and so sadly I had to step back, but they did throw me this lovely little lifeline that once a month I'm going to do a video called Rev Nick's Bit on the Side, a bit like where we have the outside broadcast from the wonderful Kate May, who does the tarot scope. Once a month I'm going to be doing Rev Nick's Bit on the Side so that I can keep my hand in and keep in touch with everybody, but it's in terms of a weekly broadcast, I just wasn't able to maintain it anymore. So sadly, I stepped back. But I will still be part of the SPTV family. It's like our family, mate. Once you get in, you don't get away that easy.
no. Yeah. You never
Um,
get out.
but it was very sad.
Oh, that, hello.
Hi, Chrissy. Speaking of which, Chrissy was there mentioning that she'll still be able to have fun at my expense on a Friday afternoon. Nice plug, by the way, darling. Thank you very much. But
Yes.
yes, lots. What I'm loving is lots and lots and lots of lovely praises for the wonderful Bridie Hughes. For those that saw her,
Yes. Yes.
she's stunning, absolutely stunning.
I saw.
Um,
I saw a little bit. I couldn't tune in for all of it because we had other things we needed to do. But
yeah.
yeah, the bits I saw were like, oh, this is very interesting. Yes. I would like to see this lady work again.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Kaza has promised that she's booked in for early part of next year, so or is going to book her in for early part of next year.
Yeah.
You can always tell whether you're going to get on with someone long term or not by how long you're chatting after the service. If I were to tell you that we were still talking 45 minutes after the end button was hit, and the only reason we stopped is because she had somebody knocking on the door. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just lovely. It was absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
So big shout out to Bridie Hughes and thank you for a wonderful message there.
Brilliant.
There we go.
Brilliant. But as always, this is not our show. It belongs to all these lovely people here. So whatever you need to talk about, whatever's on your mind, shout up and we will talk about it, thrash about it, debate about it, but never argue about it.
Amen.
Yes.
I was about to say amen, sister, but amen, brother. Um,
Whichever is
I'm
fine.
going to say, I'm so used to saying amen, sister. But yes, Kaza says, Bridie was amazing. I watched the replay last night. The energy I had after watched a little bit during the walk on Sunday was, yes. So Kaza was doing a 10-kilometer walk on Sunday during. She actually said on Monday when she was in circle, she came on, she says, I was walking and listening, and I had such a huge boon from listening to her work that I just carried on and blasted away. So, yeah, it's amazing what an impact mediumship has, even if you're not getting a message, isn't it?
Yes, truly it is. We always say even if you don't get a message within a service, you take something from other people's messages, because the amount of people who've said, come to me after a service, even an online service, and said, I couldn't take everything you said to such and such a person, but I could take 60% of it. And I always say, well, you take that bit then, because if it resonated within your soul, you're meant to hear that.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely, yes.
the other thing, oh, hang on, I've just got to stretch up a little bit.
Scooch up.
The quilt's moving. The other thing I always say about being involved in a service of any spiritual nature, whether it's spiritualism or mainstream or orthodox or whatever, is the loving energy and the healing energies that are produced. Because people will always say, even just sat here, I feel better
Yeah.
for having attended, listening in, whatever it is. So, yeah, there's always something to be got from being involved in any spiritual matter. Oh, yes. Chrissy said, we will have peace and quiet on a Monday morning at long last.
I've had my finger ready on it. I've had my finger
Yeah,
ready
I
on it,
just
Chrissy.
started saying it was just a bit of banter.
Yeah, I've always loved a bit of banter, because you're absolutely right. Not only does the energy of being connected to spirit, being a part of that meeting, that group, that service, not only is that an essential part of it, also the way we communicate is an essential part of it. And certainly having a laugh and a joke just raises the
Yeah.
vibrations. And having a bit of banter is always good. So I will always look forward to your banter, Chrissy. And yes, you will have some peace and quiet. And yes, I also, although I can't get that far back yet, I am also aware that I should just get over it, to change the record. And I'm sure that it will move. It will be one. It will be new. It will be different. It will be wonderful. Um, but what you were saying about that energetic feeling, I'm sure you've noticed this too, and it gets mentioned a lot on Thursday nights. Is that change when the healing happens? We have our healing between the reading and the mediumship, and that change in vibration, that change in frequency, that change in tone, just by going into the silence and sending out that healing, is just massive.
I will just say one thing. I've been to a lot of churches and centres where they don't do the healing,
Right.
and you can tell the difference, because when you get up to work, when there's been no healing, no energy sent out, it always takes a little bit longer to get into the flow.
Yes.
It really does, and I've noticed it, but I couldn't tell what was the difference. But
Yeah.
it's when they don't do the healing, or if they just sing the gracious spirit of thy goodness, it's not the same
Yeah.
as having that pause to go inward and to start sending out the vibrations and the energy. And because I think it just strengthens the connection with spirit.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
you've already
Absolutely
invited
agree.
them in.
Yeah. In actual fact, it is something happened last night when I made my first link, um, that I actually referenced this morning. For those that don't know, not only do I rent the village hall for the church, or we rent the village hall for the church, I am the chairman of the village hall management committee now as well. I've been on the committee for a few years, but they convinced me to be chair this year. Um, and every month or so I get a message from the caretaker, being someone who's in there from like afternoon through to the late evening. It's like, is the temperature all right? Does it need adjusting? She's always regularly checked in with me on that, and I just couldn't help myself. Like, this morning was one of those times where she sent a message, and she said, is the temperature still okay? What's it like in the evenings now? And I just put, well, there was a sudden chill wash over us, but I just said that that was a spirit breeze, and then we started warming up, so it must have been a spirit breeze. So I think the thermostat's still at the right level at the moment. And do you know what? She's so used to it all now, she never even batted an eyelid. Um, but but you do get these funny sensations, these funny feelings that
Yeah.
I always remember in development. You know, we'd all sit there, do the meditation, link in, and the room would suddenly get very, very cold for a brief couple of minutes. And Lynn would sit there and go, "Oh, a psychic breeze," and that's just stuck with me.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And actually, it was the same. A similar thing happened in Jean's place up in Thurcroft. She had a particular medium who was producing so much energy that there'd been a kids' party in the hall the afternoon before, and the balloons were left on the floor, and one of them levitated, stayed stock still while the medium was with a certain person, and then as they said, "Thank you, I'll leave the love of spirit with you," and turned around to get a drink, the balloon just dropped again.
Wow, wow,
That was
love
like,
it.
she said, our brain just went.
Yeah, I'll bet. Wow, I did because computer completely failed me yesterday. Nothing worked, so we didn't broadcast the service. I was actually talking about the
I know.
synchronicity of spirit and how feathers end up at our feet, and the science behind that, and the spiritual science obviously behind that, and the mechanics of what spirit can do to actually intervene on a physical level. And that balloon, oh wow, it's there's nothing quite like seeing something like that, is there?
No, no, it really blows your brain. Blows your brain. It really does. Because, like you said, people say, oh, it's just a bird feather. Well, how come the bird knew to drop the feather right at that time, and the breeze knew to blow it right to your feet?
Absolutely.
Hmm. You know,
It's the
this
synchronicity and the timing. It's
it
perfect.
is. And I know skeptics will say, "Oh, well, I know, but, there's a rational explanation." Yes, but the sequence of coincidences that would have had to have happened from the bird losing its feather to, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Something engineers that and creates it.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Hello to Tracy, who found a feather yesterday after being upset, and hello to Samantha. Um,
Hi.
I Samantha's one of our newbies. Well, she's not a
Oh,
newbie anymore. Um, to be fair, but Sam is one of our newest members in the circles and the workshops, and used to work at Stansted Hall.
oh,
Um,
very
when
nice.
when when she was a teenager, didn't even know what it was all about at the time, from what we've discussed. But it's that connection, and again, it's all about connections and all these little threads that tie everything together.
Yes. Yeah.
Like for instance, Chrissy. Thank you for your comment, by the way. It was very, very kind. Um, Ely Cathedral was on Anglian News the other night, Nick. My daughter wants to go and visit, and I told her when I was a little long before, when I was little long before you were born. I think there's a follow up there. Um,
I
bum,
don't
bum,
think we've
bum,
had
bum,
it yet.
bum. No, wasn't you at the cathedral when the cameras were there, Nick? I thought you'd have been interviewing, but again, no, because Ely Cathedral is a different denomination, and even though my name is written in the rafters, I don't entirely get invited for special occasions. They wouldn't shoo me out. In actual fact, we've traced our family tree, and Etheld Reader's cousin is one of my descendants, and Etheld
Oh,
Reader is the one who commissioned the building of it. Um, but you know,
amazing.
name drop in there, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Oh, I'll pick it up in a minute. But and Cheryl watched a feather float down after her auntie passed. She was going to point it out to others, but it dropped into the bin. Oh,
Wow. Bless.
I know.
I just the feathers are kind of like a universal message, aren't
They are.
they?
It's robins.
I could have got myself in trouble last night if it had been broadcasting, because I think the way I described it is, we know that a big muscle Mary hasn't just flinched his wings and dropped a feather in front of us, because they wouldn't fall out if they were celestial angel wings. It's the mechanics and you're absolutely right, Tony. The way it's all threaded together, the statistical probability of it being there exactly when it's needed, coming from that bird who's, randomly zooming around all over the place. It is just absolutely amazing. It is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing, and I love it. And they will use it for many reasons to uplift, as we've already seen. Kai, hello, Kai. Kai was considering giving up on a home circle that she was in once. And while sitting there, said to Spirit, "If you want me to stay, give me a sign." When the lights went up, my glasses, which were beside me, were on the floor and on the other side of the room. So they can, like, you're not going anywhere because we're not going to let you see your way out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if that's not a sign, don't know what is.
Absolutely.
Other than getting a cricket bat and whacking you in the face with it, I don't think they could have given you a much more direct sign than that one, Kai.
Yeah, absolutely. And feathers seem to be the emotional ones, as especially with what Cheryl was saying about the feather when her aunt passed. You've got feathers when you need an uplift, when someone's passed. It's all about the emotion. For everything else, they're just pretty much roughhouse, aren't they?
They are.
like stealing your glasses, moving across the room, and all that sort of stuff.
Moving a pile of computer discs when I've been ranting at Michael for days to move them and get them out of the bloody sitting room. And we go out shopping, come back, and they're upstairs stacked in the back bedroom.
Yeah. I'm going to say nobody else was going to do it. And yes, Mum had a bat once. My nan, bless her heart, Mum's mum, she always said that by hook or by crook she'd be at my cousin's wedding. She passed away before the wedding, but she still said, "I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there." Now, my dad used to call her the old bat. And they went into the church and sat next to this huge painting of Jesus. And hanging off the bottom was this tiny, dainty little bat. And Dad, just without even thinking a beat, just looks beside and says, "Your mother made it then." But that would have been her sense of humour.
Spookily enough, you've just made another connection for me. Guess who appeared in my suggested friends list this week?
I don't know.
A gentleman called Francis Brown.
Really?
Yup. Dressed in a police uniform with his hat under his arm.
Well, because
I just was flicking through like this and I thought, "Oh, Michael." And he went, "I don't think he sent that himself." I said, "I think he probably did."
Yeah, because I actually, I scare people sometimes. I do still manage his Facebook page, make sure it hasn't been hacked, and because I want to keep those memories there. So I do go in and accept friends requests, from those that are aware he has passed.
Yeah. But
and then reach
when it
out to
comes
those
to
that don't.
people you might know, and he was top of the I thought, wow, there we go.
Yeah.
Chrissy and your mum are talking about Ely Cathedral, and I have to say, yes, it is absolutely stunning.
Yes, because you have had a nosy round, haven't you?
We have, yes. Not last time we were down, but the 2 times before that, we've been and had a look around Ely Cathedral, and I do love it. And Chrissy, you're right, there are some absolutely wonderful places to visit, and we've just joined English Heritage, which manages a lot of castles and stately homes around the UK.
Yes.
And we've been to a couple of places, and it was absolutely beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful.
Brilliant.
They are. I do want to say that as a medium, I sometimes find some places difficult to go into.
Yes.
Depending upon what's happened there,
Yeah.
I can feel the energy as I'm walking towards it, and I think, "Oh, this is going to be rough."
Yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right, and we've got it's really really strange, but that location, there's actually a flip, a balance of that, because you got Ely Cathedral at one end of Bishop's Green or Palace Green, sorry. Um, at the other end, you've got St Mary's Church, and on the other side of that, you've got Oliver Cromwell House. Because Oliver Cromwell, famed for being something of a rebel, he actually lived in Ely and had a house there, and it's now kind of like a tourist information centre. I struggle going in there,
Mm.
but I'm absolutely fine in the cathedral. And it's funny, we were talking about, the energies, and then you mentioned the difficult energies as well. I'll never forget, we went to Reykjavik in Iceland on holiday a couple of years back,
Oh
and I
yeah,
don't know if anyone's seen that huge cathedral, that
yeah.
huge cathedral that's shaped after the kind of the um.
Don't keep doing that movement with your hand, Nick.
So, sorry. Oops. No, that's not. No. The cathedral that's shaped like all of the rocks and
Yes.
everything, the hexagonal rock. I'm just going to sit on my hands now. Um, yeah, so I went in that cathedral, and don't get me wrong, it was beautiful. It was lovely, but it just felt so flat. It just felt so empty, and it just felt so. It felt more like a community hall that hadn't been used, and I was really, really disappointed. So I wanted to know what was going on, and I linked in because I've been around all various different. I mean, we've been in the Pantheon, and all various different places. Wherever we go on holiday, I always make it a trip to a church or a cathedral. And I linked in, and there was this gentleman stood over the far corner, who was in spirit, and I went, "Oh, there is somebody here." And he goes, "And what's that supposed to mean?" I said, "Well, it just felt very flat when I came in." And he said, "No, it hasn't been here long enough to get that feeling you're used to. Turn around, take 20 paces, and go through the little gap. You'll understand why." So I did what he said. And what I hadn't noticed when I'd first entered the cathedral was that where he directed me to go was this huge cast iron tree with lots of little tea light holders. And it was a prayer tree, a healing tree. And as I approached it, I started to get that feeling.
Mm.
And it was literally people's thoughts and prayers and requests for healing. And I could feel the feeling that I'd been expecting to fill the whole place. And he said, "See, it'll come eventually, but you'll probably be this side by the time it happens." And
Yeah,
it was that build up of energy that it's the thoughts and prayers and hopes and dreams that are ingrained in the very fabric, in the DNA of the building, because there's just been so many there.
yeah,
But this building was so new that hadn't had a chance to happen in the way I was expecting it yet.
yeah,
And so it's lovely how it's all kind of all tied it all together, really.
yeah, yeah. Coventry Cathedral is much the same for me. I went into Coventry, and the new building is like an art gallery. Everything's sort of modernist and quite angular, and there's a crown of thorns suspended in the middle, but
Yeah.
it's done in a very abstract way. And that's the same. You walk in and it just feels a bit okay. I don't know quite what I'm expecting here. But you walk out the back of it to the ruins of the old cathedral that was bombed out,
Yeah.
and it's there. Straight
Yeah.
away, you get that love,
Oomph.
and that feeling, and so, but it's the same. It's a very modern cathedral, and it's not
Yeah.
been there long enough
No.
to absorb the energies. Yeah, so I get exactly what you mean.
Yeah. It's really, really strange. And you can't really quite give it the words it deserves until you've actually experienced it, can
Yeah,
you? It's
yeah.
it's the it's really, really quite strange. But hello to Joanne Lewis and
Yes,
hello
I
to
spotted that.
Lisa. Hello.
Yeah. And Tracy says she feels fine in Ely, but there are some places that make her feel uncomfortable. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's not always the places you expect.
Yeah.
You know, it could just be a stately home like you walk in and you think, oh, I don't like the energy here. It just depends.
Yeah, exactly. And just for the record, Kaza and Linda, no, you're not going to get in trouble. It was me that was gesticulating wildly and inappropriately, so it's only me that's going to get in trouble. I'll get a rap off the knuckles off Tony when we're finished.
Yeah. It was me that spotted it and pointed it out. I was like,
Well,
whoa.
yeah, yeah. Sam says the York Minster did it for me. I was followed around, but also felt great sadness overcoming parts of the building too. Yeah, it is. It is very much dependent, and it tracks, doesn't it, with that idea that emotion is the recording device on the magnetic field of the Earth to create these ingrained moments.
Yeah. Actually, I forgot, I can't think of the program off the top of my head. It was something like Ghost Whisperer or something of that ilk. And I know it was a show about a medium, and somebody said to her, "So hang on then, what's the difference between ghosts and a spirit?" And she said, "Ghosts tend to be where something has happened in a building and it's like a videotape.
Yes.
It's not actually a conscious spirit. It's
Yeah.
just somebody reliving a moment being relived within a building over and over and over again. Where a
Yeah.
spirit is a conscious, sentient
Interactive. Yeah.
energy of somebody who has died."
Mm.
And I thought, yes, because I've been trying to find the words for it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
couldn't, because if I see a ghost, there's no energy to it, there's no connection to it. But so when people say, and I hate the words that they'll say about what, oh, we've got ghost hunters in, and it's like, uh, why are you hunting them? That sounds predatory. Like,
Yeah.
but, you know, if you've got honest communication going on between you and somebody who's passed over, that's a spirit. That's not a ghost.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Lynn always used to use the phrase which I latched onto, being a sci-fi buff. It's a holographic projection,
Yes, there's
and I've
nothing
always
there.
loved.
There's
Yeah.
no there's no consciousness with it.
Yeah.
Um, I get what you mean, Chrissy. Chrissy says it's got nasty, sad, spooky feeling with it. There's a pub that Jean and I have done fundraisers in a couple of times called The Gallows, and it's called The Gallows for a very specific reason, because on that site was the gallows. And when you go into certain parts of that building, you get that strange, cold energy. You know, if you've been outside in like minus 30 degrees for a long time and it gets to your bones, it's that feeling you get. You get that real chill of the horror of what happened on that spot. And
Yes.
it's very disturbing sometimes.
Yeah.
I,
And and again, the
yeah,
common denominator is emotion, isn't it?
yeah, that's it. It's what's been left behind. So I would say with that, it's more of a haunting than a spirit
Mm.
presence. It's more of
Yeah.
the residual energy that's left. There's no there are people around in that building because it's been there for that long. There are people that are attached to the building. But yeah, I just wanted to, before it disappears, have you starred Chrissy Wheatley's comment about the Zoom?
I haven't. I will.
But we can pick it up now.
Yes. There we go. So Chrissy Wheatley says, I think you and Tony should have a Zoom and charge for it and give the money to a charity. That would be fantastic. What do you think, dear?
I think absolutely.
We
That
shall
is
have to
really
put that
good
in the
fun.
diary.
Yes, we will, because that is a fantastic idea. And if anybody
There.
has any charities they can think that we should donate the money to, then please let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot. I'm loving this because there's a lot of recommendations and discussions about places. Place in Brandon where Tracy has seen those holographic projections. Ironically, Lisa says, perfect description, Tony. It's like the moment in time replaying. Doris Stokes used to say this. Ironically, the person who taught Lynn the way of saying it to me was Doris Stokes.
Oh, cool.
And then you've been out there and experienced it, and it said exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
How do they do that? It's blooming brilliant.
it is.
You've got Moggerhanger Park. I keep pressing the buttons too much. Moggerhanger Park is nasty and sad and spooky. Loving of Oxborough Hall. Oh, yes, I agree with Mum. Walsingham. Walsingham.
Never been.
There, it's, tell you what, we need to have a plan for a couple of days next year when you come down. I would love to take you to Walsingham. It is a healing spring. It's a shrine
Ooh.
for me, and it's the whole village just feels like a church. It's chocolate box. It's oldie worldy. It's gorgeous.
Glastonbury for me has that feeling. We went years ago. I was just married to Ben's mum at the time. We hadn't been married long, and we went down, and that was amazing. That has that whole feeling of reverence as you walk through the village. Really is. It's amazing. But yes, we will have to do that next time.
Yes.
Next year when we're down, we'll have to do 2 nights, and I'll find somebody to sit the dogs.
Absolutely. Yes, bless her. Cherry had put her bucket list for her visit over here when she came, but sadly she still hasn't even got the car back.
Gosh.
Was going to go to Walsingham. It'll still happen, love. There's a prediction for you. Ron, hello, Ron. Has suggested Warwick Castle. Haven't been to that one. That's another one to look at. And there's a hotel in Arbroath.
Oh, there's Durham Cathedral and Durham Castle. Very atmospheric.
Yes.
Very atmospheric.
I have heard this. Yes. Mum's trying to save herself 10 pence for the phone box. She says, "Are you down for the?" Oh, he's already got it, Mother. Look, he's
24th. It's in there.
There we go. So we now know when the company outing is going to be. So everyone wants to. Actual fact. Hey, why not? If enough people want to, we could always get a minibus.
My old house was horrible, Chrissy Wheatley. Nasty spiriting. Oh, I always say if people are grumpy bottoms when they're here, they're going to be grumpy bottoms there. And
yeah,
and that can rub off, and you can pick up on that vibration, that energy. It's not good. Not good.
Absolutely. I've got to come to this one for very special reasons. Tracy says, lived in a haunted house in West Fen Road in Ely. Had people come and get rid of the ghost for me, but I think it came back. My partner both saw the same ghost. They said it was draining my energy as I was bubbly person. I did feel tired and ill for a while. Scary that they can do that. They are only able to do that if you allow them or you don't know they're doing that. The minute you realize it and put up a barrier, you can prevent it.
Yeah.
Other reason I wanted to come to that is Tracy. I grew up in Hills Lane, which is just off West Fen Road in Ely. I literally grew up in Hills Lane, tiny little spooky street.
Mum's just said we lived near West Fen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bury Pomeroy Castle in Devon has a strong ghost present. Oh.
Many have had experiences there. Wow.
Mm.
Oh, hello. And hubby was born in Arbroath. Oh, windmills. Sorry, it's a message I gave her once, just suddenly reminded.
Okay. See, you say Arbroath, I think Smokies.
Oh, actually, it might have been Hills Lane.
It might have been neighbours.
Yes. Oh wow, that is spooky. That.
Yeah, it's just a bit.
Do you know? I reckon yes. Silver Street in Ely is England's most haunted street.
Oh.
It used to be UK, but someone in Scotland beat us. So it's now just wow. That's the name of the hotel in Arbroath, Rosalie Hotel. And Tracy has just said it was opposite. It was opposite its small 2-bedroom place. They said it was someone was passed there on a tree, went to the library and looked back 100 years, and there were trees there. Yes, there would have been.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, Kazza, that is the one with the blue door. When Kazza came to visit, when you came down, I gave her a guided tour of Ely. And yes, I showed her where I used to live. So yes, wow, that is so spooky.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, Tony Ball, Smokies. Yes, Arbroath Smokies.
Arbroath Smokies.
Yay.
Fabulous. So yes, I think what I'm going to have to do, and I will do this. So keep your ideas of locations coming through. I'm surprised Eunice hasn't come up with a few spooky locations because I know she's visited a few over the time. I'm going to go through all the comments after the show and make a map of the different places that have been suggested. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Eunice is that if you have a problem with a new build, look at what was there before. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, definitely. Because
Wow.
She's in Wales, Nick. Is that Eunice is in Wales?
Yeah, but Eunice is commenting. That's why I mentioned it, dear.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, that's a good point. That look at what was on the ground before your place was built, and you'll usually find there's a reason for it.
Yes. That's a really good point because you just reminded me something about that as well. To back up the holographic projection, pre-recorded emotional holographic image scene. If you think about it, there are times when these projections walk through walls or appear halfway in the ground. It's because the fabric of what was there is no longer there and it's been replaced. So the floor was lower or the wall wasn't there at the time.
There's a place near us in Stocksbridge, which is just a little bit further up than Rotherham, and there are monks seen walking across a dual carriageway.
Wow.
They're only seen from the knees up, and that's because there was an abbey on one side and a mill on the other, and the monks used to walk across to the mill, and they've raised the levels.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think Moggerhanna Park is open now. Have you heard of Clophill Church? I've not heard of Clophill Church.
That name rings a bell. That name rings a bell. I'm really going to have to make a list.
We're going to have to do a lot of research.
Yes, I shall make a list, do some research, and stick pins in maps for everyone.
Yes.
There will be, obviously through personal experience, quite a few pins in Ely, but that'll be useful for anyone who comes.
Yes.
Oh, it literally was on the corner of Hills Lane. Wow. Absolutely, yes. Perfect advice. Perfect advice. And Cherry's just responded about the monks.
Yeah, they are. It is quite a well-known thing. Yes. The Roman soldiers, I've heard of that as well. They're from, I believe the Roman soldiers are from the waist up.
Yeah.
Because of the differences in buildings on top of foundations on top of foundation, so it's changed levels quite dramatically. But it's been fascinating, all these different places.
Yeah.
And I do like the idea of doing a Zoom
Yes.
circle or a something. And
Yeah, we'll do as Kaza would call it, a zoomie.
a Zoom.
A zoomie. So we've got a zoomie, we've got a spooky tour map. Oh, and Cherry, yes, absolutely. Hope you have a map of France and Belgium. Absolutely.
Oh.
We'll have to do that. And yes, you're absolutely right, Mum. There is a burial ground under my sister's house. It's called Monk's Wood for a reason.
Right.
So yes, this has been really quite fascinating, and I know Eunice, who's still watching, she does a lot of dowsing for various different things and find stuff. But there's also places out in, because the for those that are interested in ley lines, the St Michael line passes through Bury, which is not massively far away from where we are. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a long old trek, really, if you're visiting for a couple of days. But the St Michael line kind of like passes through Bury, which is quite nearby as well, and there's strange and peculiar things going on all the time. So it's really quite fascinating, and thank you everyone. Keep your ideas coming in, and I'll make a map.
Yeah.
And speaking of an emotional ingrained presence appearing, there he is. Happy birthday for yesterday, the day before.
Birthday.
Hello, Matt.
Happy birthday, matey.
Our minister from another location. That didn't rhyme. I don't care. I don't do rhyming poetry anymore. It's all free verse. But hello, and hope you had a lovely birthday, mate. Yes. Plenty at the cathedral in Bury and surrounding. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
And who put that post up? Tracy Oxbridge put a post up about a man who hurt a child, and an innocent person was punished for it, and his wife looks for her husband,
who the nasty man had. So they freed him, and the couple were reunited. Oh wow.
Oh. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. If there's been an injustice, it can
trigger
something, or a spirit can become attached to that injustice and has to hang around until it's resolved, or at least acknowledged.
Yes.
I've had that before, where something's happened in a place and a spirit has become attached to it for some reason, and they can't move forward until something's been resolved. Yeah. Oh, he did have a good birthday. Yeah,
Good,
same.
good, good. I'm being really, really naughty. No, I can't spell today, so I'm not going to be naughty.
All
Uh,
right.
yeah, I can't spell for toffee today.
No, I
Um,
can't. I can't maintain a train of thought today for some reason. I
no,
go off
no.
on tangents.
But it's brilliant because everyone's keeping us on track with the wonderful
Yeah.
comments. So well done. Um,
Yes,
yes,
yes, Matthew. They could be holding the space for the transformation of the whole thing. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And yes, we've got actually a hanging tree just around the corner from where I live. Um, it just went on a lot round here that they just couldn't help themselves. And you know, just outside of Ely, there is literally a village called Witch Ford because that was the ford they ducked them in.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Because Oliver Cromwell's house was then used by the Witchfinder General as a base for operations when he was in the area.
Oh, Clop Hill is where witchcraft took place. A lot of people go there on All Hallows Eve.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Yes, you know, there was a lot of I can't remember what program I was watching, but there was this program I was watching, and they were visiting all these various different places, and there were a lot of churches that were actually basically used by covens. I'm gonna have to try and remember what it was and think about who
Hmm.
presented it, and then I'll figure it out and find it and share it for everyone. Yes, good point. 4 weeks away from Halloween,
Oh gosh, yeah.
my sister's birthday.
Oh, happy
Let's see what
birthday for 4 weeks' time.
she will be. Oh, I'm going to upset her now. She'll be 55 because I'll be 46 2 days before. Um, yeah, because then there's 9 years between us. But yeah, it's amazing all of this, and I'd completely forgotten we're coming up to. We should have to do. We're going to have to do something special for
We'll have to
Halloween.
do a Halloween special, yes.
We will. Let's look. Oh, it's not 4 weeks. It's 8 weeks.
Oh, of course it is.
But Halloween lands on a Thursday night.
Doing all sorts of spooky stuff in the village hall then.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh yes, absolutely. Um yeah, pumpkin carving it. Do you know I haven't carved a pumpkin in ages. I shall have to do that.
No, we haven't since the kids were little. And I used to like carving pumpkins. We do trick or treat, Matthew, yes. It's
Yes.
hasn't been as popular as long as it has been over in America and Canada, but
No.
they do come round trick or treating. And Mama Brown says, "Oh, fishing wire."
Yes. Because last year when I said my usual of if the curtains start twitching and the lights start flashing, somebody had rigged it so that the curtains started twitching. Um So yes, there's lots of preparation for Halloween and
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
lots and lots going on. Oh yeah, do you know it's really really strange seeing all of these names of places where I grew up. Newnham Street. Oh yes, my grandmother lived in Newnham Street in an old pub, and that place used to
Ooh.
scare the bajinkies out of me. But it is actually where I first saw spirit because my great grandmother used to sit talking to me in her living room.
Mm.
Um, but I actually found out much later that she'd passed 6 months before I was born.
Oh,
So yeah, absolutely incredible.
yes.
Um,
We used to carve Swedes, Kai, when I was a kid. None of this pumpkin rubbish where it's dead easy to carve out. It was a Swede and it was rock hard.
wow,
Look, hours and hours to dig it all out.
Swedes. I might see if I can do that.
Yeah, little purple Swede and dig it all out. It takes ages, and wear gloves because it's hard work.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, I've seen you're moving, Matthew.
Yes,
A little
yes.
farm. Well, quite a big farm.
Gonna say 1890 is
Is old.
very old for Canada, definitely,
Yeah. Our friend's
definitely.
emigrating to Ottawa in a few months' time.
Wow, wow.
We'll miss him. But his
Mm.
wife's over there, so you know.
See, I'm tracking down how I'm connected with Tracy. You see, her grandmother's name was Culpin. Doesn't ring a bell, but mine was easy. Mine was Brown. Uh,
It's not a neep, it's a Swede or a turnip. Well, I believe the turnips are the little ones and the Swedes are the bigger ones.
yes. And of course, the place where your friend's going.
Is where my
Connection time.
oh,
Where
so I'll have to come over and visit David and his missus and pop in and see Matthew and Etienne and Trenton.
absolutely, absolutely. Wow. Well, would you Adam and Eve it? It's 5 o'clock already.
I know. Where did that go?
It's been such fun, a nice little gentle comeback into the Friday afternoons that are the two Revs.
Yeah,
Um, I'm gonna kind of do my best to, lose a couple of stones so I can hide in his suitcase so I can come over and see you too, Matt. Um, so
yeah.
it is such a small world, isn't it? But it's been absolutely brilliant getting
It's
back with
been
you, mate.
amazing.
Even if I did kind of gesticulate and upset everybody.
We will, Matthew. We will. Yes.
Yes. Now, wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be
Oh,
awesome?
yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Sherry Ann means neeps and tatties.
Yes. Neeps, neeps, neeps.
Your D's need to be upside down. Yeah.
Neeps.
No, it's
Mate,
been wonderful. Absolutely
it
wonderful.
definitely has. It really, really has. You know why the D's upside down? Because originally she's from the other end of the country to Scotland, so it would have
Ah,
been first, you see.
yeah. That's right. That's right. Got it. Got it.
Um, well, the good thing, Trace, is that we are always once we hit the finish button, the videos do become available, so you can still watch back. Obviously, the interaction's a little less, but it has been absolutely wonderful catching up with everyone,
Yes.
chewing the cud, having a giggle, planning visits to
Yes.
Walsingham and everywhere else, including Canada. I
Definitely.
would love to go to Canada.
Yeah.
So watch out for an extra suitcase to appear, Tony. I don't mind sleeping the hold all the way over.
No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But no, thank you so much. We are going to go and have a takeaway with our friends who are 2 caravans down from us at the minute.
Absolutely. Is
Yeah.
it? Do you have to go past the newbies as well?
No, that they're
Oh,
that way and Claire's that way. So
oh,
yeah.
that's a shame.
I know. I know.
Absolutely. If
I've seen him a couple of times though while we've been chatting.
Good, good. Please, God willing, I would love to come and visit. I always kind of have this vision of, suddenly turning up on your doorstep, pretending to be a pizza delivery guy one day, just
Yeah.
to take the mic. But that would be cool. But thank you all for being here. Ron, can't wait for your next visit to Littleport 2. Um, Cherry, do you know what? It must be a day for it because my typos today have been horrendous. My fingers just can't keep in the right place. So I think there must be something in the air, sweetheart. I tried to have a bit of a giggle. and couldn't because I was too late because I couldn't type it quickly enough. But keep the comments coming in. Obviously, the chat will still be open. Keep the locations and the chats coming in,
Yes.
and I will build a map and add a few French ones. And of course, young Matthew, if you would also like to share some Canadian locations too, I can put them up. We'll have a World Spirit map.
I'm just thinking we might have to have a special guest on soon from that area.
Absolutely.
If we know a good spiritual guy from Canada, Ottawa, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Revs go three-way, you know. God, no. Well, I wouldn't, you know. But no,
No,
sorry.
me either.
That didn't come quite out the way it meant to.
No, but yeah, and it would be awesome, Matthew. Yes.
Oh, I don't know. I really am losing it.
Yes.
And on that note, I will say thank you for being here. Oh, bless you. It's a good job I'm not cooking anything with aubergine today.
Neither am I.
Although I am doing a sausage jambalaya because that's one of my specialities. So I do like a good. So everyone, be prepared for the next foodie photo tonight coming up. Will be sausage jambalaya.
Oh, wonderful!
But thank you all so much, and Tony, glad to be back with you, mate.
And you, my friend. So we can no longer say you bookend the week then.
No. But I can say that we get you ready for a riotous weekend.
Oh yes, absolutely.
There's always a way of putting it.
We are happy that you find us funny and uplifting because
absolutely
that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. Joy, laughter, love, laughter, spirit, laughter, naughtiness, laughter, accidental double entendres, laughter. Have you tried the Beyond Burger vegan sausages, Nick? No, I haven't, but I will. I do have a lot of vegan stuff because I'm lactose intolerant, and it just makes life easier.
It does. It does. And I have, and they are really good.
I do. There's a lot of really, really good stuff by Wicked Kitchen. I do recommend Wicked Kitchen. They're really, really good. But on that note, I'm going to go and put a fork in my bangers so that they don't explode in the air fryer again. And I will say God bless and good night from me.
And good night and God bless from him.